You're invisible. Not because you're weak, not because you lack talent, but because you're too available, too emotional, too eager to prove yourself to people who don't even respect you. Here's the truth nobody tells you. The world doesn't care about your good heart. It cares about your value. And if you can't control how you're perceived, if you can't make yourself scarce, if you can't walk away when necessary, you'll spend your entire life being used, overlooked, and replaced. Strategic thinkers understood this centuries ago. They watched men with good intentions get crushed. They saw manipulators rise. They learned that power doesn't belong to the nicest guy in the room. It belongs to the one who understands the game. Today I'm giving you the blueprint, 7 strategic principles that will transform you from forgettable to unforgettable, from desperate to dominant, from powerless to untouchable. This isn't about being cruel, it's about being strategic. It's about becoming so valuable that people need you more than you need them. Now I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my value. Let's begin. Number 1, the reality of power and human nature. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. Nobody cares about your morals when you're weak. You can be the kindest, most honest, most hardworking person in the room and still get passed over, disrespected, and forgotten. Why? Because people don't judge you by what's inside your heart. They judge you by what you produce, by what you show, by the results you deliver. Wise leaders said it clearly. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone can see and few can feel. People see your outcomes. They see your power. They see your status. But they can't see your intentions. They can't see your struggle. And honestly, they don't care. This is the reality of human nature. You want respect? You need to demonstrate strength. You want loyalty? You need to prove value. You want people to take you seriously? You need to show them that. Being on your bad side has consequences. I'm not saying become a tyrant. I'm saying stop expecting the world to reward you for being nice. It won't. Look at your workplace. Look at your relationships. Look at social dynamics. The people who get ahead aren't always the most moral. They're the most strategic. They understand that power is about perception, not purity. If you're struggling right now, if you feel invisible, ask yourself this: what am I contributing that makes me irreplaceable? Because if the answer is nothing, then you're not undervalued. You're accurately valued. Here's what you do instead. Stop trying to prove you're a good person. Start proving you're a necessary person. Build skills that matter. Solve problems others can't. Deliver results that speak louder than any words. When you become undeniable in your competence, people will respect you, not because they like you, but because they need you. And need is far more powerful than affection. Strategic leaders knew this. The ones who survived weren't the kindest. They were the ones who understood that in a world driven by self-interest, power flows to those who offer something others can't do without. Be that person. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Strength earns respect. Number 2, value as the measure of worth. The world is a marketplace, and whether you like it or not, you're being evaluated every single day. Not by your intentions, not by how hard you try, but by the value you bring. This is the cold, hard truth. Society doesn't reward effort, it rewards results. You can work 16 hours a day, sacrifice your sleep, push yourself to exhaustion, and still be broke, unappreciated, and replaceable. Why? Because effort without impact is just noise. Think about it. Nobody pays you for trying. They pay you for delivering. Nobody promotes you because you stayed late. They promote you because you solved a problem nobody else could. The world doesn't care about your struggle. It cares about your outcome. This is why so many good people feel stuck. They're pouring energy into things that don't matter. They're being loyal to people who see them as expendable. They're hoping someone will notice their hard work and reward them. But hope isn't a strategy. Here's the shift you need to make. Stop focusing on being liked. Start focusing on being irreplaceable. What does that look like? It means developing skills that are scarce. It means solving problems that others avoid. It means becoming so good at what you do that losing you would be a disaster. When you're irreplaceable, you're not begging for respect. You're demanding it by default. Think about the people in your life who have real leverage. They're not the ones constantly seeking approval. They're the ones who know their worth and act like it. They don't chase, they attract. They don't beg, they choose. They don't prove their value. They demonstrate it and let others come to the obvious conclusion. This is the difference between being common and being critical. If someone can replace you tomorrow and barely notice the difference, you're common. But if removing you from the equation creates a problem they can't easily solve, you're critical. And critical people have power. So ask yourself, what value am I creating that nobody else can? If you don't have an answer, that's your wake-up call. You need to build something, master something. Become the person people need, not just the person they tolerate. Because in the game of value, mediocrity is invisible. Excellence is unforgettable. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I am irreplaceable. Number 3, scarcity is the first law of power. Here's a principle that will change everything for you. Scarcity creates value. Availability destroys it. Think about gold. Why is it valuable? Not because it's useful. It's not the most practical metal. It's valuable because it's rare. Now think about air. Essential for survival, right? But worthless in terms of price. Why? Because it's everywhere. The same rule applies to you. If you're always available, always saying yes, always there whenever someone needs something, you become like air. Essential maybe, but taken for granted, worthless in their eyes. Strategic observers understood this deeply. They noticed that the most powerful people weren't the ones constantly in everyone's face. They were selective, strategic, hard to reach. This is why being too accessible is killing your value. When you respond to every message immediately, when you drop everything to help everyone, when you never say no, you're training people to disrespect you. You're teaching them that your time has no value, that you have nothing better to do, that you're desperate for their attention. And desperation repels power. Here's what you need to do. Master the art of strategic withdrawal. This doesn't mean being rude or ignoring people randomly. It means being intentional about your availability. Don't answer every call immediately. Let some messages sit for a few hours. Say no to requests that don't serve you. Create space between you and others. When you do this, something magical happens. People start wondering about you. They start respecting your time. They start valuing your presence because it's no longer guaranteed. Scarcity creates curiosity. Curiosity creates desire. Desire creates power. Think about the people you respect most. Are they the ones always chasing you, always available, always eager? Or are they the ones who are selective, busy, hard to pin down? You already know the answer. Now here's the deeper level. Scarcity isn't just about your time, it's about your energy, your attention, your emotional investment. Stop pouring yourself into people who give you nothing back. Stop being emotionally available to everyone. Stop making yourself small so others feel comfortable. When you become scarce, not out of arrogance but out of self-respect, you force people to earn access to you. And the ones who don't, they'll reveal themselves by walking away. Good, let them go. They were never adding value anyway. The people who stay, who respect your boundaries, who value your time, those are the ones worth keeping. Remember this, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you tolerate disrespect, you'll get more of it. If you tolerate being taken for granted, that's exactly what will happen. But when you pull back, when you become selective, when you operate from a place of abundance instead of scarcity, you flip the script. Suddenly, they're chasing you. Number 4, competence over charisma. They think charisma is power. They think if they're charming enough, funny enough, likable enough, they'll get ahead. And sure, charisma helps in the short term. It opens doors. It makes people like you. But here's the problem. Charisma fades. Competence compounds. The guy who gets by on charm alone? He peaks early. Once people realize he's all talk and no results, the magic disappears. He becomes a joke. But the person who builds real skills, who masters their craft, who delivers results consistently, that person becomes untouchable. Strategic thinkers valued competence above all. They knew that in the long game, results matter more than personalities. Think about it. You can be the most charismatic person in the room, but if you can't deliver when it counts, people will lose faith. And once trust is broken, no amount of charm will bring it back. On the other hand, you can be quiet, reserved, even a little awkward. But if you're the person who solves problems, who gets things done, who produces results, people will respect you. They'll need you. And need creates leverage. Here's the truth. Competence gives you options. Charisma makes you dependent on other people's moods. When you're truly good at something, whether it's your job, a skill, a craft, you don't need to beg for opportunities. Opportunities come to you. You don't need to convince people of your worth. Your work speaks for itself. You don't need validation. You have proof. This is the difference between surface-level influence and deep, sustainable power. Charisma is rented. Competence is owned. So here's what you do. Become so good at what you do that people can't ignore you. Stop worrying about being liked. Start worrying about being respected. Stop trying to impress people with words. Impress them with results. Stop chasing attention. Build something worth paying attention to. When you do this, something shifts. You stop feeling anxious about what people think. You stop seeking approval. You stop needing external validation because you know your value. You've proven it. And that confidence, real confidence earned through competence, is magnetic. People feel it, they sense it, and they gravitate toward it. This is how you build lasting power, not through tricks or manipulation, but through mastery. Now I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My skills speak louder. Number 5, emotional detachment. Your emotions are being used against you. Every time you react out of anger, every time you get defensive, every time you let someone see they got under your skin, you hand them power. Strategic minds understood this perfectly. They watched emotional men make stupid decisions. They saw how easily people could be manipulated when they couldn't control their feelings, and they concluded, emotions are tools, not masters. Let me be clear. I'm not saying become a robot. I'm not saying suppress everything you feel. I'm saying this: the person who controls their emotions controls the interaction. Think about arguments you've had. Who had the power? The person screaming and losing control, or the person staying calm, speaking clearly, refusing to be rattled? You already know. Reactivity equals vulnerability. When someone can make you angry with a few words, they own you. When they can make you jealous, insecure, or desperate, they control you. But when you stay calm, when you refuse to react, when you process emotions internally and respond strategically, you become dangerous. Here's why emotional detachment is a superpower. 1. You make better decisions. Emotions cloud judgment. When you're angry, you say things you regret. When you're desperate, you accept things you shouldn't. When you're hurt, you act out of revenge instead of logic. But when you detach, you see clearly, you think strategically. You move with precision. 2. You can't be manipulated. Most manipulation works through emotions: fear, guilt, desire, insecurity. When you're emotionally disciplined, those tactics bounce off you. People try to push your buttons and realize you don't have any. That's terrifying to manipulators and powerful for you. 3. You command respect. People respect calm. They respect composure. They respect the person who doesn't crack under pressure. When everyone else is losing their mind and you're standing there unfazed, unbothered, you become the leader by default. Now, how do you build this skill? First, pause before reacting. When something triggers you, take a breath. Count to 5. Don't let your first emotional impulse dictate your response. Second, separate feelings from facts. Ask yourself, am I reacting to what actually happened or to how I feel about it? Most of the time, it's the feeling, not the fact. Third, zoom out. Will this matter in a year? In 5 years? Probably not. So why give it power now? When you practice emotional detachment, you stop being a puppet. You stop dancing to other people's tunes. You become the one pulling the strings. Drop this affirmation in the comments: I control my reactions. Number 6. The power of walking away. This is the ultimate power move. Most people don't have it, and that's exactly why they're powerless. The ability to walk away is the strongest negotiating position you'll ever have. Think about it. If you need a relationship, they control you. If you need a job, they control you. If you need someone's approval, they control you. But the moment you're willing to walk away, the moment you have options, the moment you're okay with losing what you have, you take back control. Strategic thinkers knew this. They observed that the most powerful leaders weren't the ones clinging to alliances. They were the ones willing to break them when necessary. Because dependency is weakness. Options are freedom. Here's the hard truth most people avoid. If you can't walk away, you're not in a partnership. You're in a prison. This applies to everything. Relationships where you're scared to speak up because they might leave, prison. Jobs where you tolerate disrespect because you can't afford to quit, prison. Friendships where you give everything and get nothing back, but you stay anyway, prison. And the worst part, everyone knows you're trapped. They can feel it and they'll use it. But when you develop the ability to walk away, not out of anger, not out of ego, but out of self-respect, everything changes. Suddenly people start respecting your boundaries. They start valuing your time. They start treating you better because they know you won't tolerate less. Here's how you build this power. 1. Build options. Never put all your eggs in one basket. Whether it's income, relationships, or opportunities, always have a backup. When you have options, you're never desperate. And desperation kills leverage. 2. Know your worth. Understand what you bring to the table. Understand that you're not lucky to be there. They're lucky to have you. This isn't arrogance, it's self-respect. 3. Be willing to lose. This is the hardest part. You have to genuinely be okay with walking away and losing what you have. Because if you're bluffing, they'll call it. But if you're serious, they'll feel it. And when they feel it, they'll adjust. I've seen this play out 1,000 times. The person who's willing to walk away almost never has to. Why? Because people respect strength. They respect boundaries. They respect someone who values themselves enough to leave a bad situation. Walking away isn't about being cold. It's about having standards. It's about refusing to settle, refusing to be disrespected, refusing to stay where you're not valued. And when you do that, you attract better. You attract people who match your standards. You attract situations that honor your worth. Remember, you're not walking away from them. You're walking toward yourself. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I walk toward better. Number 7. Reputation as currency. Your reputation is working for you or against you every single day, even when you're not in the room. A wise saying goes, the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. You need strategy and strength, and both are built on reputation. Your reputation is the story people tell about you when you're not there. It's what opens doors before you knock. It's what closes opportunities before you even know they existed. It's the invisible force that determines how people treat you, trust you, and value you. And here's the kicker. Once your reputation is damaged, it's almost impossible to fully repair. You can spend years building trust and lose it in one moment of poor judgment, one lie, one betrayal, one moment of weakness captured at the wrong time. That's why reputation must be guarded like gold. Here's how you build and protect a powerful reputation. 1. Consistency over intensity. Don't be the person who's amazing one day and terrible the next. Be reliable. Be steady. People trust patterns, not promises. 2. Deliver on your word. If you say you'll do something, do it. Every time. No excuses. This builds a reputation for reliability, and reliability is rare. Rare equals valuable. 3. Control the narrative. Don't let other people define you. Own your story. Correct false information. Defend your name when necessary. Silence isn't always strength. Sometimes it's surrender. 4. Associate strategically. Your reputation is influenced by the company you keep. If you surround yourself with losers, liars, and chaos, people will assume you're the same. But if you align with high-value, respected people, you inherit credibility. 5. Never compromise your integrity for short-term gain. The quickest way to destroy your reputation is to sell out your principles when things get hard. People remember, and once they see you're willing to compromise, they'll never fully trust you again. Your reputation isn't just about being liked, it's about being respected. It's about being known for something that matters. Are you known for results, for honesty, for competence, for keeping your word? Or are you known for excuses, drama, and unfulfilled promises? The choice is yours. But once the reputation is set, changing it is an uphill battle. Build it right the first time. Conclusion, so here's where we are. You now have the blueprint. 7 principles that separate the powerless from the powerful. This isn't theory, this is how the game actually works, and now you have a choice. You can go back to being the nice guy who finishes last, the one who gives everything and gets nothing, the one who's always available, always accommodating, always overlooked. Or you can step into power. You can become the man who controls his value, who moves strategically, who can't be manipulated, who walks away when necessary, who builds a reputation so strong that opportunities chase him. The world doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards power. And power isn't about being loud. It's about being smart, strategic, self-controlled. Strategic wisdom gave us the manual centuries ago. Most people ignored it. They wanted to believe the world was fair, that kindness wins, that hard work is enough. But you're not most people. You're here because you want the truth. And the truth is this: the game is already being played. The only question is whether you're playing to win or being played. So take these principles, apply them, test them. Watch how people's behavior toward you shifts when you stop being desperate and start being selective. Watch how respect shows up when you master your emotions. Watch how power flows to you when you become irreplaceable. This is your transformation. Own it. And if this video gave you clarity, if it woke something up in you, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to this channel because we're just getting started. Drop your favorite affirmation from today in the comments. Let me see who's really ready to level up. You're not here by accident. You're here because you're done being average. Now go prove it.